What we've been talking about here on Power Business for the past couple of weeks since the dawn of the new year is the F&B Business Innovation Awards for 2018. The entries are still open until the 31st of January, so there's literally a week left before they close. And on the line now, we're talking to one of the former winners of this particular award. The company is called BrandsEye, and the chief executive now joins me, JP Kloppers. They were winners in 2017. JP, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Sandile. Great to be chatting to you.
Yes, man. You know, it's always a good thing to understand why anybody won any award, is to understand what's so amazing that they are doing. So let's start about the company, BrandsEye. What actually do you guys do?
We mine public social media, so mine opinions on social media to try and understand what's driving public sentiment. We essentially connect people having an experience out there in the world with those within organizations who can make some kind of a decision to help either better that experience or provide them with the things that they're looking for.
Why don't they just go to social media themselves? What's so great that you provide?
Well, they do. The challenge with going to social media is you kind of put a public statement out there, whether that's ranting at your telco or your bank or whoever it might be, in the hope that they'll do something. But the system breaks down when that message doesn't get to the person within the bank or the telco that can actually do something about it. And we connect those dots. So we route that data into large organizations. And we're talking about the biggest telcos and subscription services in the world, who use our technology to try and connect their customers to people within their organization who can help solve their customers' issues.
Did you build this technology yourself? Is this something that you've done with other partners?
No, we did. We've built, it's all homegrown South African technology, which is it's really encouraging for us that what was a small company out of SA is able to compete on a global stage with tech that we've built. It comes out of a desire to see people work and to bridge the unemployment gap that we see in SA, and that need produced a technology which is actually an approach that solves problems in other parts of the world. And when we started, that wasn't the intention, but that's the world that we've kind of stumbled into, and we have this technology that's ready to solve problems for people in other parts. I
read somewhere that your company is so good at what they do, it's so good at mining different opinions on social media. You guys were actually able to accurately call both Brexit and Trump's victory. How?
No, that's right. And again, it's just reading the social media. We listened to what in the UK it was 500,000 people, what they were saying about Brexit. In the US it was 43 million conversations that we listened to, and just categorizing that correctly and understanding, in the US elections part, is this person pro-Trump or anti-Trump or pro-Clinton or anti-Clinton, meant we could measure that and out of that infer which way we think that they're going to vote. So our hypothesis is how people feel today influences what they do tomorrow, and that's true for an election, it's true for a brand, it's true for a marriage.
Go back to the marriage part. Now I'm worried. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if it's one thing to know your wife is angry with you, it's another thing to know why. And we help organizations understand the why. When you understand that, you can solve all sorts of problems. But that's often where things break down.
I feel like saying to my wife right now, I'm sorry, babe, for whatever it is that I did. But that never really cuts it, eh? Because you got to actually say what you're sorry for.
And if you're coming to BrandsEye and saying, help me understand why my wife is angry, you've probably got bigger problems.
JP, stop it. On a serious note, I wanted to link the US and UK experience on Brexit and Trump to the South African one, because I recall, JP, and maybe you can clarify this for me. I recall, many people saying that, the one thing that South Africans are doing is relying on what's happening on Twitter and Facebook as an indication of what's really happening on the ground, on the streets. Do you think that, there is indeed a divide when it comes to developing countries like our own, where perhaps not everybody's connected to social media, not everybody's really voicing their opinion, and indeed what may be happening on social media may not turn out to be the result on the ground, particularly when it comes to politics, whereas it might be very different in the UK and in the US, being developed countries?
We thought that as well, but when we did the last by-elections in SA, the social media was a very close representation to the end vote, more close than in any of the polls or any other mechanisms which were used to try and understand which way the various cities were going to go.
Right.
So even though, like, with the inequality and the difference in types of people that are using social media in South Africa, I think one of the big almost lagging impressions that people have of social media is that it's still the realm of the fringe and the disenfranchised. Well, that's just simply not true. It has become way more mainstream. Many people of all sorts of races and ages and different personality types go onto social media and share their opinions. And we've seen that in South Africa. We even saw it in Zimbabwe in the latest, what went down there a couple of months ago, where embassies in Zimbabwe were contacting us to say, what is happening in Zimbabwe?
Wow.
And we're like, just look out your window. And they're like, well, we don't trust what we see because it's not the whole picture. And whereas what's happening on social media often gives just way more color and way more depth and representation to what is actually happening. There are parts of the world where that's not true. You know, in Russia, people are scared to go onto social media and to express their views.
Really? Why? Putin's going to catch them.
You have no idea.
I like the way you chose your words, JP. Let's move on, brother. It's clear why you won this award. Why did you enter?
Why did we enter? Look, there's this old adage that one can chase headlines or chase revenue, but you can't do both. So we were scared, not scared to. I think we've just avoided media attention. But I think there's also a case of, where there is innovative or just good stuff happening, we have a responsibility as citizens to try and tell those stories. And it's in telling the stories that it opens the pathway for others to do the same. It's true in any industry. No one believed anyone could run faster than 4 minutes in a mile, and then Roger Bannister did it.
Yep.
And then suddenly everybody could. And entrepreneurship is a little bit like that. It's not possible until somebody does it, and then suddenly it's possible.
Right.
And while we haven't made any, huge, we're not a huge success story like a Mark Shuttleworth. I think we just need lots more success stories out of SA for many more people to say, hey, I can do that too. I can create 5 jobs and then 10 jobs and then 50 jobs and then 100 jobs. And that's how many of the troubles that we face will be addressed.
One of the awards, the prize of the awards, the FNB Business Innovation Awards, is being part of the Endeavour Network. I am told that you were already in part of the Endeavour Network, but obviously after you won, you went to the ISP. How has that entire association been for you, just like being exposed out there, going on this particular trip, and being part of the Endeavour Network? What has it done for you and your business, and maybe your business partner, Craig?
Yeah, Craig, I'll share a story with you from that ISP.
Yeah.
I think the hardest news we got was somebody said to us, we'd be very excited for your business if it wasn't for the two of you. And they were like, what? Did you really just say that? But when we actually took that on board and said, all right, well, what is he was trying to communicate that we're missing a particular kind of skill in the makeup. And Endeavour is amazing that because at that, it's just helping you think more critically about your business and think strategically and say, okay, if we're going to become the proverbial billion-dollar business, how are we going to get there? We need to have the right people, we need to have the right strategies, and so this regular interaction with Endeavour, it's just that case of sharpening iron, and being with people like that just sharpens our thinking, it exposes us to how things are done in other parts of the world, and so we remain competitive on a global stage.
All right, let's talk about future plans, bro. JP, what's it like? What's the scaling plan? How's it going?
Yeah, it's an equal dose of terror and excitement as we scale.
Perfect balance.
Exactly, yeah. We're busy opening an office in London, busy staffing that out. We're busy pushing hard into the Middle East. We've got a few people there and some customers there. And I think scaling is this constant tension between what you say yes to and, more importantly, what you say no to. Remaining focused with limited resources is critical, and we constantly try to hold one another to that as we scale.
All right, good luck with the balance between terror and excitement. JP Kloppers, Chief Executive of BrandsEye, thank you so much for your time, and all the best. Godspeed to you.